we are going to be installing the angle kit for the CTSV, and there's a couple things to note that we have done to make this possible to achieve somewhere around 60 degrees of angle. The first thing that's got to go is unfortunately the sway bar. So what we're going to do is cut it off about an inch away from the rubber bushing. And the reason why we're cutting it off in place and all that is because they're a massive pain to remove. You got to lift the engine, drop the cradle, fish it out, and it's a huge pain. And these cars are so big, there's not really many ways I could see you running without a sway bar and it feeling remotely good. So we're gonna encourage that you run the kit with a sway bar, and we're gonna lop off this part because it hits at about 35 degrees of angle. And then we're gonna use this plate, which we cut, that will go over the location that we cut, and it'll give you a nice weldable sway bar blade that's gonna line up with the new control arms.
So are those going with the kit?
Yeah, the kit is gonna be fairly costly. I don't know if we're gonna add it as an option. I think most people would select it as an option. So yeah, I think we should include them with the kit. Anyways, I started cutting.
Be careful.
I'm never careful. All right, so I'm gonna take the grinding wheel now, the flap disc. Which has seen better days, it's just about done. I'll show you what this is gonna look like. It's gonna go on just like that. We're actually gonna put the slightest bend in it, somewhere around here, so that it clears this mounting bracket. But essentially, that's what it's gonna be. And you're gonna be able to weld it around, and now the wheel's not gonna hit it anymore, and you're still gonna have a sway bar. It's adjustable. It's gonna line up with this location on the control arm, and we're gonna make a link that connects the two up. It's gonna be a thing of beauty. And it will come standard with the kit. The kit is fairly involved. It's gonna cost a little bit more than our usual. Plus the quantities are gonna be a bit lower, but she's a big car, it's a nice car, needs the best that we have to offer, so it is what it is. Let's get installing. Installed these lockout plates on this car. We did an episode on it right before this. You can see them here if you didn't see that episode. These lock out the massive slot that has no form of cam bolt or anything. These essentially act as a cam bolt or like an Ackerman plate style that we use on our angle kits to basically lock out the hole, turn the slot into a hole, but still give it a 3-pin adjustment using these little holes here and this little bolt as a pin. So we can move these plates in and out, select different options, and effectively change our caster and our camber. If you want to see more on that, watch the video right before. For this video, we're just going to start throwing stuff together. Break the zip ties that come standard on the kit as if it was brand new. Don't drop the spacers. Grab a bolt and do your best to sling it in on your own. Oop. I'm gonna throw. I'm gonna throw. All right, get that in there.
Okay. Mine's in.
Still in?
There we are.
Tap that in. So that's not going anywhere. These are always fun. Not so bad. Beauty. Okay, we'll leave it loose just in case we need some mobility. Looks like we're already on to the knuckle portion, which is over there because I was gonna grind some clearance. So next up on the install, might need the cameraman to thread on my nut here. That was actually hard holding that up. Oh, all right. So you guys missed that. We needed the cameraman to pull down the rubber bushings on the upper. Very springy. Okay, so next up is our coilover relocation bracket. I'm gonna take this off. Okay, so the adapter bracket goes on like so. This is for the control arm, and this is for the tie rod. Put them both on at the same time. You're gonna wanna impact that on, and then throw the factory nut back on. Lock it all down. You're gonna wanna torque that to about 90 foot-pounds after we get everything installed. And we need a 21 for the lower. Hello. And you wanna torque that down to factory spec. It is the same as the factory lug nuts. And again, we'll torque that to factory spec after as well. So that is the adapter in place. The tie rod's new location can be seen here. And we ground here a little bit to give us good clearance on the jam nut of our tie rod. So we'll throw that in just so you can see what I mean. The tie rod comes with one spacer that's slightly shorter than the other. The shorter one goes on top. Just gonna throw the tie rod on to the inner. By pulling this, it's a lot easier to align when that's not in. We have made our connection. What's next, Jack?
Wheel bearing.
Yeah, wheel bearing for sure. We should get into this sway bar stuff pretty soon. This wheel bearing was a pain in the butt.
Why?
This wheel bearing,
Yeah, but why was it?
it just wouldn't come out. I had to take it to Pound Town just to get it out. Where are the other bearing bolts, Jack? The other side just slid right in. Some slide in, some don't. We are there. We have arrived. Now we can talk about the sway bar. We need to do a bend. This is really strong alloy steel. It's incredibly impressive. When we try to bend it, it really doesn't want to bend, so we're gonna go bend it. We need to give it a 10-degree kick. No, it just doesn't want to bend it. This is 44 tons. I mean, the bottom die is a little small, but it's only 2 pieces. All right, well, I'll just have to do one at a time. That's where we want it. And it's gonna line up with this tab here. So we put a little kick in our blade because we're gonna need to. And this is our mock-up for the sway bar link. Basically, you're gonna want the blade on a downward angle if you're at full droop down, because when the car's weight is on the car, this is gonna be straight, which is gonna give you your best ratio going across. So basically, we need to simulate where we want it, make sure we have good range of motion for the blink. We're gonna tack this in place, set the link to the exact same length, install it on the other side. So we're gonna do this at the same time, left side and right side, so that when we weld this to the bar, we know that both sides are gonna be the same. My only concern here right now is the range of motion of these heim joints. We have larger heim joints, but this distance is too short. So we're gonna have to make some small, thin washers to go in between the mounting points to give us a better range. Range and everything's gonna be good like that. So we'll do the same on the other side and then weld it in place. Make sure we've got good tie rod clearance to everything. As the control arm goes up, this is also gonna go up. So it looks like we're gonna be pretty good. And if we need to adjust this much taller, we can. So I think we're good. We're pretty much okay to check the angle of both blades, make sure it's the same, make sure our coilover length and droop, the total droop that we're at right now is the same. Stick it right on there. Right on the blade. Yeah, that's perfect. Cam.
Okay, boys, like it just pops back
You
on.
come over here.
Bugging out. All right.
I'm bugging out because nobody plays sim with me.
My shifter broke, dude.
Space bar, dude.
Spacebar what?
Space bar shift.
To go up or down?
Both. Arrow up, arrow down.
Left side spacebar is down, right side.
Not space bar, arrow.
We'll be fine if it's a 1-gear track, but if I have to shift.
Forest Park.
I'm gonna be looking for
Third
the
gear.
arrow.
If you're in any gear other than
fourth.
no, if you're in any gear other than third.
You go third,
Then you
fourth
grab
on the straight.
fourth.
Oh, you go fourth on the straight. You're
Yeah, I
right.
just won't drift it
Bye.
straight. It's fine.
You can do it in third, but
I'm on you straight.
Just weld it solid.
Till I want. Like boom, boom, boom. Tampa, Florida. Hello, Josiah speaking.
hey, get the light in there, man.
Oh my!
He didn't take all the paint off.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Can we get some water on this? Yeah. Oh, did
Yeah, shine it, man. Man!
like show baby?
Let's get a slap and tack on there. All right, make it quick, Cam. Make it quick.
Man, you didn't take half the paint off.
Yeah, I did.
Don't worry
So it's
about
really
it.
important after he's welding that we get it cooled as fast as possible because there is a rubber bushing close. We cut the sway bar fairly far back, so it's not like directly on the bushing, but we're gonna have to cool it down with a little fluid after. Cam, are you hot?
I can't really see. Hey! Yo!
He's used to it. Okay, so sway bar connected, sick. Let's continue.
You know how people wear ski goggles on the side of their head sometimes? Next 5 years, watch welding helmets. Next big thing. You'll see.
And then when you weld, do you think you could install your head device backwards so that you could actually...
Oh, definitely. This is super uncomfortable. Tighten her up.
Thanks, Cam.
Made in Canada. Right up the road. We got to zip tie the ABS sensor because if it's bolted to the knuckle in place, it puts too much tension on it because of the extended arms and the extra lock. The brake line also, there's a clip that goes to the knuckle. It needs to be unclipped as well. We'll have to figure out where we can tie that as well. Same problem. So it should have stainless lines made, but lock to lock, it doesn't pull it. It doesn't pull it at all. It's just very close. A couple points of reference for the installation guide. It's pretty much complete other than that. Tighten a bunch of things up. Very cool kit. A lot involved in doing stuff like this. You guys see a very, very short, obviously a very short version of what we're doing, but all morning and it's lunchtime now. For OEM wheels on a Caddy, it's actually amazing. Gorgeous. The install on the CTSV is complete. This would be what we would consider like a mild Mantis version of this kit, utilizing a knuckle adapter, a lower control arm with some modifications required to install it on the knuckle, which is basically just some minor cutting and grinding for clearance purposes. Nothing else is required other than cutting your sway bar and then welding on our provided sway bar plates, which you could also just run the car without a sway bar entirely. A lot of people drifting compensate for not having a sway bar by just increasing the K of their spring. So generally you would go up about 4K versus what would be recommended. So if you're supposed to run a 12K, you would go to a 16K with no sway bar. So that is an option, but we are gonna allow you to run a sway bar with that provision. But the install went really well. We don't have a whole lot of changes to make to the kit, and this is the first one. The Ackerman is exactly 0. It's not going to be adjustable just because we are reusing the stock knuckle and there isn't a whole lot of room for it to be adjustable. So that's fine. If someone really wanted an adapter that wasn't 0 Ackerman, we could easily make it. But this is how the kit's going to come. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys got a good taste of what goes into these kits. Again, this took a lot more time, effort, and reverse engineering, computer skills in designing than what you saw, but this is what the final product is. A nice big beefy arm to go with a big juicy car that weighs, what do these things weigh? 40,
Everything is
47, what? 42?
42.
Seems light. I think they're heavy either way. They're more than 2 tons. So with that in mind, these parts are for racing application only, for the racetrack, not for public road use. They use bearings everywhere, solid bearings, where original control arms always use bushings. Bushings are like a rubber mallet, bearings are like a ball peen hammer. So if you know the difference between those two, you know that a bearing will wear out and do a lot more damage a lot faster than a bushing. Thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe to our channel. See you guys on the next one.